Hey Village! We hope you all had a really great Thanksgiving if you celebrated. We actually just realized that we have not gotten any family pictures this year, and there's a place by us that does like a tree cutting, and they have like animals and activities. It's a really great place for pictures. So somehow we managed to pull together some coordinating outfits, and we are gonna try to get some pictures, at least of the kids, maybe even of like John with the kids and like me with the kids, and if we find a nice person to take our picture, that would be awesome too. Darcy is always the performer. So we're going with like a tan and a navy. Sawyer's playing the drums. And I've got on my navy dress with my boots. And also we got a letter from our county. They're asking for more information, so I'm gonna talk to you guys about that a little bit later. All right, you guys, we are back from the tree plantation. It was a lot of fun. Darcy and Sawyer got to meet Santa. We got some really cute pictures with them. Sawyer kind of froze up a bit, but Darcy was kind of cautious, but then really warmed up to him, and it was just really cute. And we haven't officially decorated for the holidays yet. I know some people are like my sister, and literally the day after Thanksgiving is her holiday extravaganza. She does absolutely everything. Their elf shows up. They start that whole tradition. For me, I need a couple of days. So this week I need to kind of purge the house, get everything kind of cleared out, getting ready, and then we'll be pulling out all of our decorations. But today's trip really got us in the holiday spirit. And now I'm gonna show you guys what's even more important that I need to do, and that is in order to stay in compliance with our agency. So the previous agency that we were with actually did a recertification every 2 years, which is standard for the state of Ohio. But this county actually does kind of a check-in every year. And I think this is a really good practice for all agencies to do if you're able to. It's a great check-in with all of your families. Lives and homes can change dramatically in a couple of years. So we were warned by our caseworker at this new county that even though we just gave a lot of the information to transfer our license there, and she was out there for our home study, she still needs to come out and do the annual home study as well. So this is the first letter that kind of explains the process. It clarifies that our license doesn't expire until a certain day, but that the agency itself does this review on a yearly basis. And what's included in this review is a foster care review form, which I'll show you guys, pet vaccination records, because again, if things are only being reviewed every 2 years, that would allow a period of time where your pet vaccinations could expire. Same with your verification of auto insurance and a current copy of your driver's license. They're also requesting any training certificates, and this is probably just to maintain their records. And then what's really cool that I saw is a reunification agreement, and this is the first time I've seen that. I'm gonna read you guys what this reunification agreement states. It says, "We encourage, support, and participate in reunification plans. It is understood that the agency will make every effort to reunify each child with his or her immediate family. If this is not possible, the goal will be to place the child with a relative or kinship family member. I understand that I have input on developing the case plan and will be invited to the semi-annual reviews." And in my perspective, I feel like this is a really great agreement and reminder for foster families on an annual basis. It's stating very simply that the goal of the agency is to make sure that the child is reunified or is placed with family whenever possible. And I think sometimes it can be easy if you're a foster caregiver and a child has been with you for a really long time, you've seen a case plan go every which way, and you start to think that, oh, we are clearly what is best for this child. And while in some cases that will be true, in other cases, it's just not. I'm also going to show you guys the foster care review form. What this is asking is initially just to include all foster care placements and removals during the last year. It also asks how the child has adjusted to your home. And I think that this is interesting because I know that they probably have this information on file. So some people might think that, oh, like this is unnecessary, but it's a really good reflection for the foster caregiver to fill out, and also it puts everything in one place. It asks if any member of the family has been charged or convicted of a criminal offense, if there were any changes in household occupancies. This could be simply you have a child who goes off to college and is no longer living in the home. You could have been expecting a child, you could have had an adoption, and so this information again can change on a yearly basis. Another thing that can change is any significant change to family income or expenses. So like me, if we had stayed with the previous agency, I had lost my job this past year, and they wouldn't have shown that in their records until the next recertification if this form wasn't filled out. Also talks about any serious injury, illness, family crisis. And again, a great point of reflection is indicating the strengths and growth areas for each foster parent. It has a question on training and if people are on track, discussing the foster parent's reaction to the removal of a foster child. They also mention emergency placement as well. The reaction during pre-placement visits. I believe this is talking about when reunification is coming up and there are pre-placement visits, meaning overnights, community visits, weekend visits, that sort of thing. It asks about the reaction of the children and discussing each family member's opinion of being a foster adoptive family. So again, this changes from year to year. At this point, Darcy really understands what it means to have kids stay with us. And so her understanding changes, and so her answer changes. It also asks what the family's assessment of the agency's support services are. And this is a spot where you can request additional training and support or involvement. And then finally, describing any changes in the family members' attitudes or expectations of foster care and adoption. And it is important to note that these are all self-selecting answers. So the foster caregiver is meant to answer honestly. That might not always be the case. However, it is in the best interest of the agency, the children, and their families to be as honest as possible with these types of questions. And really being honest with yourself, especially with those questions that are really about your perspective of foster care and adoption. If you came into this hoping to foster to adopt, and that hasn't happened over the course of a few years, your opinions might be changing. And it's important to let your agency know that because they could help you identify a different agency that could meet your expectations if adoption is truly what you're looking for. So for us, we actually don't need to fill out a whole lot on this form because not much has changed since we transferred to this agency. As you all know, we've been open to respite, but respite really hasn't been needed in the last few months. And I also just want to note that whether your agency or county does a review like this every year or every 2 years, it's still in everyone's best interest that you are disclosing these types of responses and situations in your life pretty much as they're coming up. And your caseworker, especially if you have children placed with you, they're going to be, having multiple visits in order to check in on the status of the child. So you'll have those opportunities to let your caseworker know, hey, just an FYI, I got a new job and these are my hours. So we might need support with, transportation or hey, we just found out we were pregnant and, just wanted to give you a heads up so that as we move forward, you're aware of that. So definitely be open and honest and have that communication with your agency and your caseworkers. Now that Thanksgiving is over and I'm trying to get back into a little bit of a normal week with the kids, I'm finally gonna get the chance to talk to you all about the Netflix series Made. It's something that I have been meaning to film and edit, but with everything that happened leading up to Thanksgiving, it kind of fell off. So that's gonna be coming up. And also, John and I have just been feeling like useless foster parents because we're still not ready to take more permanent placements, and there's a few reasons for that. I think for us mainly, we do have one more trip planned at the end of February, and it wouldn't be fair to bring kids in and then expect that they would be allowed or would feel comfortable traveling with us. So we felt it would be best to just wait until after that milestone for our family in order to start taking those placement calls. At the same time, we would love to take a kid or multiple kids on that trip with us, but again, just trying to weigh the benefits and seeing potential obstacles and challenges, we just feel like it's best to wait. But there hasn't been a huge need for respite right now. So like I said, we're just feeling kind of, useless. Like we're foster parents, but we're not really doing much. So I am gonna talk to you guys in a future video about what we're doing to try to maximize our impact, focus on the kids who have already been in our lives through foster care, and think of ways that we can work with our county to have kids come and stay for a little while. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.